Hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar on getting started with web designing. So first let me introduce myself. My name is Sanjit Kanekar and I am the coordinator for this webinar. Hope everyone is doing good and safe at their home. So before going any further, first let me introduce you to the speakers of today's session. So we have our first speaker, Mr. Akash Kumar, who is a web and graphic designer at SJ Innovation. And the second speaker for today's session is Pritesh Parsekar. He is the design team lead. He is leading the design team at SJ Innovation. So before beginning with this session, I'll like to give you a short introduction about SJ Innovation. So what SJ Innovation is all about. So SJ Innovation is operating since 2004, and in last year we completed 15 years in this industry. I can say successful 15 years. So our head office is in New York, and we have our branches in different regions of our world. Like we have in Goa, Bangladesh, that is Dhaka and Sylhet, and in Ukraine. So in the span of these 15 years, we have grown from a small company to a big one. So currently our total employee strength is 140 plus. Akash, change the slide.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the things what we do. We are basically involved with web designing, that is UI and UX designing, web and mobile development, and also quality assurance. Okay, so guys, just remember one thing. This session is not the ending point, but the starting point, which means that at the end of this session, we won't expect you to be an expert in web designing, but surely you will be in a better position to understand what web designing is, what are the related aspects to it. Okay, because learning is a continuous process and you need to explore more and more to understand the concepts. So one more thing I'll like to mention, please feel free to interact. Don't hesitate to ask question, even if it is the silliest question. Every question is welcomed, but just make sure that you note down your questions or any queries during the session. And at the end of the session, we will have a question and answer round wherein you can ask your queries. So without wasting much time, I would like to hand over this session to our speaker. Akash, you can continue with your session.
Yeah, guys, I think let's
Sure.
cut-
And
introduce ourselves first to
yeah,
the, yeah. So you get started with that. Yeah.
yeah, you can start, Pritesh.
Okay. So hi everyone. As you know, my name is Pritesh Parsekar. I started my journey in design and in IT long back, 10 years back, like I would say, like. So I have seen I was lucky to see the changes and the evolvement of, of web industry, especially. So from table design to CSS, to nowadays WebGL. So it's very interesting. And I started as a web designer initially. I used to design websites, and later I found myself curious about coding. So I started, HTML and CSS conversion of PHP to HTML. Then I got really more interested, and I went further, and I took some advanced courses, and also so to tell you, like I design and also I code. So I'm between designer and a front end, you could say. That's it from my side. Let's hear from Akash.
Yeah, guys, I'm Akash Kumar, and I'm not. My background is not from the design. I was doing electronics. So after graduation, I have decided to enter into this field. That's why I started my career in that is since I had a very much I was very much fond about the designs and how they work. And yeah, I just had a little bit knowledge about the Photoshop initially, before joining SJ Innovation. Then after joining, I got to learn various things in the web design and how the um, what is design apart from web design also. Like there are animations, and also there are app designs, you can say, that I got to learn. So let's start with the presentation, and let's know what are the topics we are going to cover. Yeah, Pritish.
Yeah, so thanks, Akash. So these are the topics, guys, we are going to cover up. So we are going to talk about who are web designers and what do they do. We are going to also tell you what are the standard, roles and responsibilities of a web designers, and what companies look out for when they are looking out for a web designer. We are going to talk about project life cycle because if I think we think that it is very important for you to know how a project life cycle, how a project gets started and how a project ends in a company. Like this is the standard way, like how it is in all the companies, most of the companies. Then we are going to talk about branding. What is the importance of branding and why we should, why as a designer you should be more concerned about branding. uh, Next thing we are going to talk about, since this is a web design related, so we are going to focus on web. So we are going to talk about web design elements. So what are the elements which are very important when you want to design a website for someone or for yourself. Then we are going to talk about tools you can use to design and we are going to show you some inspirational websites, some free resources where you can get started as a web designer and start learning. And at the end of this presentation we are going to take any question, Q&A. We're going to have a short Q&A, so you guys can ask any questions if you have, and we will answer them. Okay, so Akash, let's get started. Over
Yeah.
to you. Yeah.
So here we are going to know who are the designers and what are their responsibilities. Okay, so let's understand what is a web design first. Web design is a process of planning and getting content which is intended for the internet. So whatever you see on internet basically is a web design, you can say that. Like it also can be web apps, mobile apps, and the user interfaces
So,
on your
so
maybe a smartwatch.
yeah. So it's like, guys, whatever you see on the web is called web designing. Whenever you surf a web page on your desktop, tablet, or on your phone, it's the web design. Now, app design is a little bit different. Now, as you know, that there are two OSs, iOS and Android OS. So there are uh, uh, two different categories of apps also. But a designer, as a designer, there are a lot of other, opportunities a designer gets. As Akash said, you can design a app watch, you can design apps, you can design web. And out of this web world, if you see, if you ask, like, what are the other opportunities, then whatever, nowadays you must have seen TVs with patch wall and Android TVs and all. So that interface is also designed by a designer. So there are some apps which require designing for those TVs, and also that also is done by a designer. Then there is, you must have seen nowadays cars with, they have ditched the old odometers. I'm talking about the speedometer and all, the UI for the music players and all, everything comes under UI. Even the interface, you must have seen the BMWs, Mercedes, which they have come with, digital speedometers. The design, the UI is done by designers. So that is a different field, and web is a different field. In web, you do web designing, that is web pages, landing pages, email design. You must be familiar with email. You receive Flipkart, Amazon emails, right? So that is called email design. And apps design, and finally the watch design, watch app designs. Okay, yeah, over to you, Akash.
Yeah. Let's see what are the responsibilities and what are the roles of a web designer in a web development company. So first, I will say designer that he should know how to design, and there are um, like there will be websites and landing pages and apps which Pritesh had said, like and once for that in order to start with that, we have to interact with the clients also. So there are meetings which are held with the clients to get the requirements and also discuss the project progress. Okay, so um, once the requirements and everything is gathered, and the the designers work on the design, and they also have to demonstrate that design and get the feedback from the clients. So uh, after the first draft is ready, it is shown to the client, and we receive the feedback from the clients, and we work on that feedback, and this process continues like iterations after iteration until we arrive at the last final design. Okay, then the key the ultimate objective of the design is that the design has to be user friendly, effective, and appealing. So whenever you say a visitor visits your website, you should be the design should be able to attract the user and uh, keep the users intact to your design. The It should be a very it should not let happen that with the first impression client should not uh, and should not change more client should not move to the different option. So we have to be very careful with the first impression of our design, that is the home page. The home page in web design speaks a lot, like. So these also apart from that, we are also have to work with the different teams, like the there are developers, the quality assurance teams which works with us. So we are a multidisciplinary team which works on the building the websites. So let's see how a project life cycle is about,
Yeah,
and from start to the website launch,
yeah.
how the
So
process works.
yeah, so let me explain, guys, like what is a project life cycle. So this is a project life cycle, what you see on the screen right now. So there might be like, if you go in depth, like there might be a lot of things, but I'm not going to go in depth. I'm just going to tell you the overview of a project life cycle, and then Akash is going to tell you where in this life cycle where the designer's role fits, where the designer is required and where not. Okay, so let's get started. So initially, like, how a project life cycle starts. Initially we get a good lead. We call it a good lead because it comes from business development team, that is a separate department who looks after getting work for our company. So we get a good lead, and then we go over a call with the client. We try to get all the requirements. We have a meeting with them. We have everything, like the requirements. Then we estimate the project. Once the estimate is approved, we are awarded the project. Once the project is awarded, we start planning with the project. Once the planning is done, we do the research, we do the site mapping, we do the content drafting, everything. And once that is done, it goes into wireframe phase. Wireframe, we'll talk about it later, more about it. Once a wireframe is done, we go into the design. It goes into the design phase, the actual design phase. Now here the designer works on the designs, and all the pages have been done. After the designs are done, it is the designer's responsibility, it's our responsibility to show it to the client, get it approved from him. If not, go back to the canvas, redo the changes whatever the client has requested, and then it, finally once the design is approved, it goes into the back coding phase. Now in coding phase, there is development team who works on the front end and back end of the code. They work on the coding, they make the site fully functional, they put everything. Then there is QA team, quality assurance, who works on checking for bugs, who on different platforms, on latest browsers, on latest devices, and a lot of things. They do automation testing and all, and then they identify the bugs. All the bugs are fixed, and that's how the final product is ready, and that's where the project gets launched on the website, on the web world. That is, we make the site live. Okay, so this is a project life cycle. Usually it is the standard way of doing, and most of the companies have this cycle, but it might differ on project to project, or it might differ company to company. All of them have their own processes. So let's talk about where the involvement of a designer, and where designer it gets involved, and how much he has to work. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah. So you can see the areas which are marked in red and the green. And these are the areas where a designer's involvement is required. So it starts with the startingly the getting the requirements. What are the clients? Whether if a client have some brand book or not, we have to request for that, so that we implement all the branding onto the site. We have to know whether know the business client's business model, and what are its target audience. So everything is looked out in the initial phase, and all the requirements are gathered. Then the designer works on the wireframes. um, so you will not know what are the wireframes, how they look like. So and this is the wireframe. It looks like it is actually a bare bone structure of the websites. There are no colors or the fonts put in this part, like. And here we get to decide on the number of pages it will have, and from where to where and the it will navigate to the other pages, like. So everything is decided over here. And yeah.
Yeah, so just to add, wireframe is just a bare bone structure of a website. In order to save time of our designers, what we do is like we start with a wireframe, because that helps you to layout, you plan the layout, and plan the, as Akash said, plan the pages, plan the journey from where it should start from homepage, how you are going to handle the customer journey, where exactly you want the customers of the website to go. Like do you want them to go on the about us page, or do you want them to go on your portfolio page? For example, if you are making a portfolio site, you are a designer, and you want to make a portfolio site of yours, so you need to plan that journey. So that is what wireframe helps you, and it gives a fair enough idea also for the developers, that how the site is going to how the site's flow is going to look like. And then they can plan their architecture, then they can plan their DB database, how the database is going to be, and what are the backend wise, like what are the things they have to consider, the technologies they can use to overcome this. So all these things can be done in the wireframe phase.
Yeah, after the wireframes is the UI design. The UI design, the first look of the website, you will that is designed in this phase. And all the colors as well as the fonts, pictures, videos, icons, everything is combined, and a layout is created of all the pages which we have discussed in the wireframes. So first we work on the home page, and this home page, once the design is shown to the client, and we get approval from the client, from the client whether he is satisfied with the design or not. So once he is once he gives us the green signal, then we move to the inner pages, uh, which are about us, maybe contact us page, so all completed once the designs are later assets are
Yeah,
created.
Akash, I think you should
The
repeat what you said because of internet
yeah.
issue. I guess we could not hear you.
Okay, okay. Once the UI of the homepage is approved by the client, the we work on the inner pages such as about us page, contact us page. There will be a services page. Everything is worked on in the inner pages, and it is sent for the client's approval. And the design, once the design is approved, the assets are created, such as icons, the images used on the sites. The There can be videos also. The designer also works on those videos and create those videos, and all that in the form of assets are given to the developer team. The Yeah, it is handled over the developer team, and this is the point where designers role in the development cycle ends. There can be a situation wherein a client wants to change certain things. Then in that cases we can work in later phases in the development also. Yeah, yeah, we are done with the project cycle. Let's see what is branding. Okay. Branding is not just about the logo. It's about the various touch points the users come into contact, like with the brand, such as the social media, the TV commercials, the ads which you see on televisions, also on the magazines, newspapers. These are the various touch points the people come in contact with your brand. So there are different elements which are taken care under branding. The logo is the first element. Your logo should be very simple, and it should have one or two colors. There are certain companies which have more than 3 4 colors, that is Google. But usually the companies have only 2 or 3 colors. Yeah. After the logo, the next important thing in branding is the fonts. The font, the fonts is decided based on your logo. Sometimes, the main font of your logo is picked as a primary font, and there is also a secondary font along with this. Like it can be anything which makes a perfect combination with the primary font. Okay, so the fonts are also important. And yeah, after the fonts there is the colors. The colors are very important in branding. Like you have to decide which colors you are going to use for the branding. Apart from the logo colors, there are other colors also which you can implement your design like. Okay, and we are going to cover more about the colors in the branding, the web design elements. So we will discuss on that. I will give you a depth color definition maybe, or explain you about the various colors and what are their importance like. After color is the photography, animations, illustrations, and the iconography. These also are very important. Like they need to be consistent. They need to be very consistently used throughout the various touch points, like the videos. as well as in the social media. You have to be very consistent with your photography, the animations which you use, the illustrations, and the icons. This will create a vocabulary of your brands, like, and you might have to use them again and again. So that is the consistency. So what is consistency is pattern which you use on a different touch points at a different touch points. It can be a color, it can be a font, even a font. Here the important thing is the consistency. I have some internet issue. Hello guys. Hello Pritesh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the colors. Colors used by Google, like they have 4 colors. They they use these colors like in all products like Chrome, GPay, even on the new design of the Google Maps. They have used these colors. They have
I think we have some issue with
and
his
people
internet.
can,
Yeah,
yeah,
Akash, I think there is some issue with the internet. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So, guys, so what we want to tell you is like why the brand is important. A brand is important because it speaks on behalf of you, on behalf of your business. Now, if you see, you know, Amazon and the color they have used when Akash was talking about consistency and character. If you see Amazon anywhere on the web or app or anywhere on a advertisement, they are very consistent with the way they are using their brand colors and everything. They'll stick to their logo colors and their primary colors. So that is very important. And also, when I said brand speaks for you, for example, just think of Red Bull. When I say Red Bull, what comes to your mind? I'm sure you must have thought of a good sporting exciting sport, maybe ice skiing, maybe a bike jumping from, maybe a sports related, because you have seen Red Bull everywhere. It is a part of, like, sports. So that way it interacts. So the brand is very important. Even you, if you have a small business, you can have a logo. You should have a logo. That is the very important. So if you all I don't know if you all know Amazon, the arrow which is there at the bottom, it's actually a smile. And it's actually a arrow pointing from A to Z. So the logo is trying to say something. The logo is saying that we have everything you need from A to Z, and with a smile they want to give you the quality service. So that's what the logo speaks over there. So there are a lot of things like that. So brand is really important. So even if we all as a designer, you all can also have your own logo, which speaks about your style of designing, and
yeah,
which
and
speaks about
personality.
your style of personality and the way you design. I'm sure you must have heard that every painter has his own style of doing. So the similar way, like even the designers have their own way of doing certain design. Now here Akash has a different pattern where he leaves some visual cues which people see, and it comes, like, especially me or other people from our team, like we know that it is done by Akash. If something is done by me, they know that it is done by me. So so it's all about the consistency. And Akash, you should also give them the sound example. Okay, let me do it on your behalf. So you guys must have seen the
Yeah,
Britannia
yeah,
ad, right? The Britannia ads. Nowadays, I don't know if they are doing it, but every time the advertisement ended, they had a small jingle, a small music playing.
yeah.
So that
Ting,
is a,
ting,
like,
ting. Yeah, like that.
it's like a sound cue for people that it's Britannia. Nokia, how many of you all remember that when you used to put on the Nokia phone, you used to hear a Nokia tune? You don't have to look at the logo, but that sound is to, it strikes that, okay, it's Nokia. iPhone ringtones, everybody knows what is iPhone ringtone, everyone must have heard of it, right? So it adds up to branding. It is That is why they come up with this all creative ideas. So sound is one of them. Sound is one of the element which is close to branding. So for branding, when we talk about branding as a designer, there might be some clients who want to make their branding design, they call it branding design. And in branding design, what you do is you do the logo design, you do their website design. If they are a product if they are into a product, manufacturing a product, you do their packaging design, you do their flyers, you set the guidelines for other people who are going to design on your behalf. For example, you are a web designer, and there is something called desktop publishing, that is DTP. They are the people who design for magazines or printed material, especially billboards. You must have seen big billboards, so you, as a designer, if you are doing the brand guidelines, you have to set the guidelines. It's guidelines as in you have to tell, like you have to write it down somewhere or document it somewhere, how the logo is going to look at all time. You cannot put the logo, like in black and white. Maybe you cannot put the logo, maybe you cannot half cut the logo, you cannot stretch the logo. These are the small guidelines I'm telling you all. So that is the job of a web designer. Okay, so just remember, like whenever somebody says I want to do my brand design, there are a lot of things which you can do in brand design, and you can also set some guidelines whenever you are doing a brand design. Okay, so that's all on branding. Akash, let's go ahead.
Yeah, let's move on to the web design elements, the visual elements which you see on your websites. Okay, let's have a quick overview of the elements we are going to cover in the uh, cover here. Like the first will be the written copy, the text which you see on your websites. Then will be the fonts, different various kinds of fonts we have to use on the websites. Then there is a layout. uh, yeah,
Yeah, I think
then
let's go in deep, and let's skip the list and let's directly jump into the real thing.
okay, okay,
So let's
okay.
talk about written copy. Yeah.
Yeah, the written copy, the look of the website and copy goes hand in hand. Like the content writer as well as the designer have both, they have to work together and deciding the what will be the title of a maybe a slider, first the image. uh, Here you can see the make your own way. This is about a career, yeah, what you call
Job search,
recruitment, job
recruitment.
search, yeah, job search company, uh, wherein you can see the titles which are used. These are done by the content writer, but um, every brand will have a different tagline, and you have to stick to that tagline and decide the content. Like it
Yeah.
can be,
So just to give you all an example, like think of maybe Mountain Dew, right? You'll know what is Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is it's a cold drink, it's a soda, but the way they advertise it, it's similar to Red Bull. Like it's something like sporty, energetic. Somebody has to mute. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going on Mountain Dew website, and like, what do you think? Like, the written copy on that site should also be the same way what they portray in their ads. It should speak the same thing. It shouldn't be like something like oh no, demotivating, like, because whatever they show like in Mountain Dew ads and all, it's always motivating. It's always pushing you to the limits. So the written copy, the point what I want to make here is the written copy, that is the content or the copy, the text what you are going to put. You have to think on that, and you have to put it in such a way that it connects to the logo or it connects to the brand. Whatever you are trying to say from a brand perspective, it has to be conveyed in such a way in copywriting that it has to sync with your brand. Okay, your brand is pointing to something, and and your copy on the website is pointing to something else, that won't work, that won't help. Okay, another thing, you don't have to worry, because content writing, I know it's difficult and it's not a web designer's job, but there are professionals out there who do content writing. But it is your duty to explain them what exactly you need and what exactly is the brand about. So for that, when we say in a project lifecycle, you have to do the research, you have to find out about the brand, you have to know what exactly you are going to design, you have to know the end output, like where the project or where the product you are going to take. So in that, you know all the details of the project. So you need to give these details to the content writer and get some good content written for your project. Okay.
Yeah, the next element is the fonts. Your fonts should be very easy to read, and uh, yeah, it should complement your design. There are various fonts which are available on net, but there are some fonts which are called web safe fonts. So we have to choose only those fonts which are meaning the developers can implement them, because there are thousands and millions of fonts which are available on internet, but we can't use all of them. So there are the fonts which are listed, like on you can visit Google's Safe Fonts, which they have a font library which we can use those fonts onto your designs.
So just
So
to add up, let me tell you guys, like there are different types of categories. You need to know the category first. There is something called sans serif, and there is something called serif fonts. So these are the two main categories. And as Akash said, that there are some fonts by default. We call them web safe fonts. So what is a web safe font? Let me tell you, because as a designer, you should know what is a web safe font. A web safe font is, you see it in the name only, like web safe. So it's like whatever font you're using in your website, it is there on most of the systems available in the market right now, or available in the world right now. Like Linux operating system is there, then there is Windows, then there is iOS, right? Then there are a lot of other this thing. So they have a set of web safe fonts which are always present on all of these systems. So just think of that, you are using a font A or Arial. You must have seen Arial, right, in Word and all. You use Arial, and if it's not there on Linux, then what will happen? You know what will happen? Like it shouldn't show the text. No, it will show the text. It will use another web safe font. So as a designer, you should know what are the web safe fonts, because you might be intending to use a very fancy font from Google. We have listed so many fonts on the screen right now. You might use one of this Gothic font, maybe Bank Gothic. You are using Bank Gothic, right? But it is not there on Linux. So what will happen? You have to use a WebSafe font. So it will render in WebSafe font. So as Akash said, there are a lot of libraries available right now, and Google has done a really great job. They have their own library, which is open for everyone, open for any designer. You can go check it out. It's called Google Fonts. There are a lot of fonts which are listed over there, which you can use in your designs free of cost. Yeah. So that is what I wanted to say. Okay, there is one more thing I'll add up to fonts. How to decide what should be bold, what should be italic. Now, how to decide this, right? I'll give you a simple example. Just think of, have you all seen trespassing not allowed boards in properties, right? I'm not sure everybody has seen it, but let me give you an example. Like it's a board where trespassing is not allowed. It's written by the owner of the property. They don't want anybody to trespass the property, right? So so how you are going to, like, it's a job of a designer, like it has come to you, like, okay, what you are going to do? Are you going to put a Disney font over there that trespassing is not allowed with small fonts? Yeah, no, right? Because it will look funny. People will still cross your property. You have to make a statement here. You have to make, in that design of the board, you have to make a bold statement that trespassing is not allowed. You have to make a very strong statement. So what
yeah,
are you going to use?
tool.
You are going to use a font which shows the strength. it is like a warning or a caution that please do not trespass this property. So you are not going to use a cartoonish font, or you are not going to use a fancy font. You are going to use a very strong font, like which stands out, which makes a very bold statement, which passes a very good this thing. So this is how you think while picking fonts. So if you are thinking that your brand is like a very ancient brand, like you're talking about luxury, maybe you are talking about for example a classic luxury item which is very expensive, then you have to think that way, and you have to pick the font which goes with your brand. So you have to pick a font which looks premium, right? So these are the few examples I tried to give you all, which will help you all to pick a font in your design next time. Okay. Let's check out some color guide from Akash.
Yeah, the next design element is the color, and the color the color of the brand speaks a lot. Like uh, if you take red color, see the red color symbolizes passion, energy, excitement. Okay, so there are this color is widely used by the entertainment industry. You can see color the color of Netflix, which is in red, also by the audio apps as well as the audio products like Beats, and there will be apps such as maybe Ghana.com, or you can say a T series. They have used this color, and since this color gives those emotions of excitement and energy, they have used it. So yeah, you guys can hear, right? Uh,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
clear.
okay.
It's very good now.
So yeah. Okay, the next color, let's see a green color. Green color symbolizes nature, health, environment, and it also is a peaceful color. Also, the energy, the money, which is used for the money also, but the importance of this color is that this color is very calming and pleasing to the eyes. For that reason only this color we see this use of color in the hospitals. The curtains you must have seen in green color. All the equipments or the beds, everything is painted or put in green color, so that the patient does not feel stressed out. Like, okay, so there are um, the various uses of the color, and you need to be very careful while selecting these colors. So,
Yeah. So just to add, you must have, you see that BP logo. So BP is actually Bharat Petroleum, I guess, right? Uh,
I don't know,
yeah, there's
Pritesh, it
one
can be
more,
anything.
but
Yeah.
no, there is one more, which is petroleum, the one which is at the bottom, but I don't remember the name of it. But since it's a petroleum, but what they want to convey the message from their logo is that they want to, preserve the nature. So that is what the point here they want to make is, since they are into petroleum business, but their motive is to preserve the greenery, or so picking a right color for your brand is very important. You need to decide where, like what exactly you are trying to get out from the brand, like and in that way you have to pick the right color. So many times it must have happened that you are like you want to design a logo, and you wonder like what color you'll put, right? And you must be like using a color picker, or you must have seen a nice color with somebody else has a very nice logo. I like that color, I want to use that color. It is not like that. You have to follow some little bit of research will help you out. Even this image what we have put on the slide will help you to pick a right color for your brand, right? So this is a very another important factor in web designing. or we can say like you want to design a logo, you make the right choice of the color. If you are doing a website, pick a right color. It has to go with the brand, right? Okay.
Yeah, along with the type of the colors, like we also have to check if that particular color suits on white background as well as on the dark background. So the designer don't have to worry like changing the color of the logo and all. So picking a color before when building your brand guidelines is very important. Like. So let's move on to the next element, that is the layouts. How you decide to arrange elements will have a dramatic impact both on the appearance and the functionality of your site. So there's the yeah, let's show you all guys a example. Um, yeah, yeah, you
Okay,
are
so
going.
let me talk about layouts. So layouts is like, let's show them this. Okay, so as you know that as you all, okay, so let me get started with this. What you see right now is one of our clients' very old, very old website, and if you see the layout as in the way it looks right now, or the shape of the site, it's very narrow. Okay, it's very narrow, and it's very outdated. So just wanted to give you an example from where the layouts, from which point in the past till date, how the layout has changed in web industry. You know, it has to look like the way we showed, and now it is totally different. So let's talk about some of the common layouts we have. So the layout what you are seeing on the screen right now is a centered layout. By what I mean by centered layout is you have a fixed width and it is always in the center of the screen. You must have seen different websites, right? So if it has a fixed width, it will always be in the center, no matter what your monitor or your resolution is. The site is going to stick in the middle. Then there is something called wide layout, or you can show the Pinterest example, Akash. So
Yeah.
if you see this homepage, you see it touches your monitor on the left and right hand side. So this is a full width layout or a wide layout. So what does this layout mean is it will cover up the entire space of your monitor. So you are utilizing the entire space of your monitor. So there is a lot of space for you to, put your elements on your design, in your design. Okay. And then there is something called a mixture of both, that is centered layout along with a wide layout. Let me show you all an example. Maybe the Stripe example you can pull out, Akash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can see, guys, so actually if you see, this is the content is in the center, but if you see the design, the colors and the images are touching your monitor from left to right, right? So this layout is a mixture of both. It's a mixture of centered layout and a wide layout, a fluid layout. Okay, so these are the new layouts which have come up now in the market, and like it has evolved. So I just wanted to see, let's go back to the Farsada this thing, and go back to the old layout, and let's just show them how it is to be like. Yeah, so just see this layout. It's, I think, almost like a 800px site, because I remember, and you will also remember at back then the monitor size or the screen resolution, the most common screen resolution was 1024. 1024. I know it's very small, right? But at that time in 2000 and all, it was, they had this, most of the people used to have this standard resolution. And but now in 2020, if you see, so it has moved up. So a little advice for all the designers, upcoming designers. So keep a track of what's going on in the global industry. Keep a track. You need to keep a track of what are the monitor sizes, general, like standard. How many, like, you need to see when you're designing for a wider audience. Okay, you are not designing for you or your group of friends. They are not going to be there. You're designing for your customers. So you need to understand who are your customers. A way you can do this, for example, if you are having if you are starting with a new fresh design for somebody, you can always take a look at W3C. I think has a section, maybe we can add it in the slide later on, which shows you how in worldwide statistics what resolution people are using mostly in, and that will help you to decide, okay, which kind of layout I should pick for my customers, whether it is full width layout or whether it is centered. And it also depends on the content you are going to put. If there is too much of content you cannot handle, then you might go with a wide layout. If there is very less content, sometimes have very less content, so you might think, okay, let's go ahead with a centered layout. Okay, another thing, a tip for y'all, if y'all are redesigning somebody's website which is already there, like for example in this case Farsada, we the client already had a website. What you can do, if they have a Google Analytics account added to it, Google Analytics gives you the exact audience, from which country and what resolution they are using, what, how many people from 100, how many people are using mobile phones, from how many people are using desktop. So you get a fair enough idea. So if more people are there on mobile phone, it is no point in investing a lot of time in designing a desktop. It is obviously that you will put more time in phone and give a good experience for your existing customers who are returning back to your website. Okay, so these are the small tips, and let me just show you all how SJ Innovation looked before and how it looks now, and maybe in few months you can check it will evolve better. So this is how, like, it looked. It was a mixed layout, wide and centered layout, based on a WordPress backend. So little slow scrolling, Akash. Let them see it. We'll put
Yeah.
these links for you in the slides later on, so you all can take a look at it. So this is how it looked. This is a design. I feel like I don't remember the date actually. And if you see the current site, you can just log on to isonation.com, and you can check the latest site also, the current design, what I'm talking about. Okay, so you'll get a fair enough idea. So so layout wise, as the final takeaway for you guys is there are trending layouts, only two layouts right now, that is wide layout, fluid layout. Most of the people want to
Yeah.
cover up the entire monitor, but it depends on you, on your this thing. So even if you see like this Apple design right now, which is on your screen, it's a mixed layout because the colors are touching on the left and right hand side, but the content is in the center. Okay, so I hope like you all have good enough idea about layouts now. So let's go back to the slide and go to the next element.
Yeah, there is one more thing, Pritesh, like,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, let me, okay. Yeah, there is also called responsive web designs. So nowadays the users are mostly are on mobiles, and there are very less people. If they are not from the IT field, they won't use the actual system like desktop and maybe a
Yeah,
laptop. So we have to keep in mind that whatever you see on the desktop has to be on that content has to be seen on the tablets as well as on the mobile. So we have to pick layouts very careful. Like in the example you can see that here there are 4 columns, and how the 4 columns are broken on the tablet as well as on the mobile. The content gets stacked after one after other, like below it, and it is shown like that. Okay, so responsive designs, which we call them. Yeah, so let's move on to the next elements, and that is shapes. The use of graphical elements have increased in recent times. Like the the most of the designers and the big companies are not just relying on the images. They are also making use of the shapes in their designs. Like it is a combination of beautiful colors with the shapes, and a nice looking web layout is created. So
Yeah,
it,
so it's similar to what I said earlier. Like, the web has evolved a lot. They started like the example I showed you, Farsada. There are no images at all. Then it went to, you must have heard about Shutterstock or stock images. People, there were a lot of funny memes also about stock images. I'm not sure if you all know that. And this is the current trend right now in the market. People don't use more images, but they try to use shapes. As Akash said, there are a lot of shapes. You can design illustrations, you can design icon, you can go nice iconography, you can do a nice. So this is called illustration. What you call an illustration? So this is illustration right now, and these are the other shapes. And if you see if you see see this shapes are moving, so it attracts the user. So finally a good designer's job is what it is, to attract the user and keep the user on the web page. That is the job of a web designer. And no matter how they do it, they can do it by any means. So you have to see the latest trends also. So latest trend, if you ask us, like, this is the trend right now. Designers, a lot of designers are using very nice illustrations and shapes. With the help of development team, they animate those, and see everything over here. Whatever you see on this page right now is all a shape. Okay.
yeah, also the interactions also matter, like when if you can see this, when I hover on the button, or here also it expands. These interactions also help in building the websites, like
Yeah,
they
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's in the same, it attracts the users. They try to keep the user engaged on the
engage.
website, and they 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 feel connected to it, and they like the way it works and all, and they stay on the website and they continue the journey. So you have to also remember that, just a thought which came in my mind. Akash, can you go on top? There is something called first fold. Just remember this term called first fold. What is a first fold? A first fold is something what you see when you enter the website and you hit the enter.
Yeah,
Whatever you see at the initial without scrolling, that is the first fold.
yeah,
And to just give
absolutely.
you another tip, that upcoming designers, you can have another tip. Most of the people, it is a tendency that people leave the website in just 4 seconds if the first screen is not attractive enough. You
Appealing.
can just go and check it out. People leave within 4 seconds. So just 4 seconds it takes for users or your customers to decide whether they are going to continue looking for other stuff on your website, or they'll just close and they'll go back to some other website. So always when you're also designing, you need to take care of this first fold. Yeah, the first fold has to be really interesting, which, if you see right now on the screen, the first fold of this website is really amazing. There are animations which are coming from down, which tell you that there is content down, right? So you need to so just a thought, like, first fold which came into my mind. Just you all can take a note of it. Yeah, Akash, you can continue.
Yeah. So the next design element is the spacing. The spacing is about the position of the elements, like the images, how this image is placed. Like it is on to the right side of the slider, and the text is on the left side, as well as there is a space left in between the paragraph or the text below the title, as also the in between the button and the text. So uh, why is the spacing important? So that users attention is focused where you intend to, like where you want to, the user has to focus, like the once you open this site, the user should first look at aesthetic focused cloud AMR and also this image. So this space is also called as a white space, which is widely must have seen on the coming the trending sites. They
I think
use
we
lot
can
of
show them the Stripe site, which has a lot of white spacing. So
Yeah.
the term is called white spacing. So remember that uh, the way it works is like when you are designing something in your canvas in Photoshop, it's the canvas is the white space what is available to you. Whatever you put, sorry, for example, a logo or a navigation or a slide icon, that occupies the space then. So you need to very carefully decide how much space you are going to keep, because spacing is really important and it is trending nowadays. If you remember the example which I showed you, the Farsada example or the SJ Innovation website, which we did long back, that time it was not trending and it was not important to have that spacing. But then, there are other designers who are very
Yeah, we
experienced
can
then
see the,
and who come up with this good ideas. Now this example, this is a very classic example. If you see this, this is a very old website of the apple.com. Okay. And if you see the Apple website right now, you will see the difference. Can we go on the new site? Yeah. So this is what the new site looks like, right? It's like very big, spacious. See the amount. See, it's just a phone, right? They have shown a phone, but the amount of spacing. Some people think like, why there is so much of space? We could have fit like another 2 3 phones over there, but that's not the point. They want you to look at
phone.
that particular phone, and that's why they have given this space. And that spacing helps the user to concentrate on only the title in the between, title in the center, or the phone. And if you see like each they have like done like each sections, everything is a small different section. It has a different section for different category. Even if you go on the Stripe website, if we have it somewhere open, Stripe. So this is a very good example, very well designed website. We just love this site. You just scroll down, Akash. Yeah. You can show them. See how the payment infrastructure for the internet, the title has been put big because they want to attract. They want to read that first. That is what comes on the first wall. Then the spacing, nicely everything is managed. You know. So the thing is like you don't have to clutter the design with a lot of elements on one page or one section. Don't do that. You have to keep the website very nice, neat. Keep Put a lot of white spacing, which gives like users to focus on your element what you are putting, or focus on the text what you are putting, right? And which will help your users to convert, like which will help your users to stay on the website. So this is one of the elements, and I think we have discussed all the very important web elements, and which are like very basic. And if you are thinking of designing a website, these are the elements which you have to take care of, and your design will automatically look really nice. Okay. Okay, Akash, next.
Yeah. The next design elements are the images, icons, and the videos which you see on your websites. Uh,
I'm sure like everybody will know, like, because the normal tendency of designers, as far as I know, like they would love to find good high quality HD images, nice ones, and they'll put it up for your website, right? So it's yes, image, icons, and videos play a very important role, because it is not just what you are going to do in Photoshop. It is not like you are going to your shapes or something. It is everything. It is the content writing, it is the image, it is the icon, it is the color, the fonts, everything is synced. If everything is synced in right place, you will get a very good design out of it. So just remember that it is not just like what you are doing it in Photoshop. It is the image, what type of image you are going to put. Is it connected to your brand? Is it telling a story on behalf of you, on behalf of your brand, right? You must have seen Range Rover websites. Have ever seen Range Rover or car, any expensive cars? I'm not talking about the small cars. I'm talking about the big cars like Range Rover, Land Rover, Jaguars, and all. If you see their websites, and they attract users by putting the videography. There are people who do, the team spend time on the customers. The client, especially, sorry, the client spend time on getting those videos done, because image is good, but video is much better than a image. A video speaks, right? So image is good, but a video is much better than that. Even if you can do a nice video and put it up on your first fold, on the very first fold of your website, telling the story of your brand or telling the story of your what you do, which it will always attract more attention of user. So remember that. Okay.
Yeah, it describes what words or the images can't. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there is also like we can't use videos throughout your site also. They are they have to be limited. Like it will hamper the site loading speed. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's like not to do over, but you do just the right amount what is required. Don't overdo the things, like just because like you can put a video, don't do it like, don't overdo it, like not like don't do a site which has like entire section, like all the sections have different videos. No, you have to be like very picky, like you have to pick very nicely, very you be informative, think twice before taking a decision, like whether you should go ahead with a video, whether you should go ahead with an image, or should I go ahead with a illustration. Okay.
yeah, there should be a balance between font, text, images, icons, and all the things like videos and all. So let's move on to the tools which we use building the site, like working. So you must have heard about Photoshop. It's very common, like, and it's a versatile tool which can do many things like photo editing. Even you can design your website apps in this tool. This tool usually is called a raster tool, and there is a something different tool which is called a Illustrator, which works on the vectors. Like what are vectors? Are the vectors which can be scaled to any size, like which is done in Illustrator. So these are the Adobe's tools which they have come up. Like initially they only had a Photoshop. After that they brought in Illustrator. Now there is a new tool which is called Adobe XD, which wherein you can design your wireframes, also your websites. Like it is very handy tool to convert your wireframes into designs. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to rely
So
on other tools.
I'm sure like you guys will think now, like, okay, we have uh, we are telling you like how to get started with web designing and all, but what are the tools you are going to use, right? uh, I'm sure like everybody must have also everyone will know that Photoshop is a paid tool, right? So we would suggest you to maybe like use a trial version if you all can, because if you want to get started, like Photoshop is the best place, but it's not that this also you can learn the skills by using any free tools available in the market. And as Akash said, Adobe has come up with XD, which is also similar to Photoshop, as in like I'm talking about web, the from web design point of view. Don't get me wrong. Photoshop is you cannot like make another copy of Photoshop, or no other software can touch Photoshop. Photoshop is good at Photoshop photo editing, as Akash said. It's a raster graphic tool. Okay, but XD is something well balanced, so you can use it for your web designing needs. And as you see, the latest trend is not that fancy, and like they are not designing those glossy effect and all. They are doing flat design, right? Like how you see right now, most of the colors are single colors, gradients, and I'm sure like you'll be able to do a lot using XD, and it's worth to learn XD, and it's very easy also to learn XD, and it's free. So that is another bonus point. Like, so y'all can get started with XD. Now Sketch is you must have heard, I'm not sure, in India they very less scope for Sketch, but in US market and all, a lot of the designers they use Sketch. Sketch is designed and it is only to be installed on Mac. There is no I don't know if there is for Windows. They were supposed to come up with a Windows version, but I'm not sure about the update on that. InVision is a tool which helps you to collaborate your design with other designers. Like you can sync your design on InVision, and with InVision you can give the InVision link to your client. They can review the InVision. see, most of these tools, like they are paid tools, but we are telling you because you should have at least the knowledge. We're not telling you to buy or something, but just be. See, another tip for you guys is be in touch with the technology on and the latest news, what is going on in the web industry. Even if you are whatever profession you decide to take, like you want to be a designer, you want to be a developer, you want to be a QA analysis, but you need to be up to date with the web world. What is happening? What are the new tools which are coming out? What tools have been developed? What are the new trends in the market? Okay, so Adobe Photoshop is a good starting tool for a designer, and if you all can manage a 30-day trial also, I think it should help you out. Illustrator, as Akash said, it is used for vector graphics. It is for
Yeah,
doing illustrations, iconography, and it's a
logo
vector
design.
tool. So it's a very good tool for logo designing and character design. So you can check out some YouTube videos. Actually, it's good for wireframing, and I think it could be a good tool for web designing, but till date right now, if you see current date, it is good for wireframing. We have not tried it with designing yet, but it can do some sort of designing in that. Sketch, as I said, it's for iOS. Figma is another tool which is used for designing. It's a web tool. It's not like you have to install the tool or something. It's a web tool. You have to do it in the browser.
Browser.
And InVision is also used for prototyping. And as I said, you can share the design by putting them on the InVision. It's not like, you design like olden days, you design the mockups, 4 or 5 mockups, you save them and email them as an attachment and send it to the client. No, it's not like that anymore. It's pretty fancy now. Like you put it on InVision, you give the link to the client logs on to the InVision and he looks at the design, and then he puts the annotations, like he'll click certain area and he'll say like, oh, I don't like this, can you just change this? So we can reply to that client and all that sort of stuff. So it's really like
Yeah, it
very
is
nice.
all the designs which you do are sync on a cloud, maybe Adobe's clouds, and you even the Figma, which is a web tool wherein multiple designers can simultaneously work, like, and even the at the same time the clients also can view your design, the progress of the design. Okay. uh, yeah, and
Yeah,
it is widely, meaning the Figma tool is used mostly for the app designs, I can say, because it has that feature of prototyping also with it. Like we can present our designs in this tool. Yeah, I'm done. Pritesh,
yeah, we are done with these tools.
can we
Can go to
move to the
next.
next?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
okay. Yeah,
Okay,
the
so
yeah, yeah,
this
you
is
continue.
a very good resource we have got for you guys. If you all are really interested, our first suggestion is you all go and check awards. uh, you know we'll try to put the links on the slides so you all can just click and so awards is a website, with the name only you must have understood. It's a, like a competition. Like people submit their websites, and there is jury members. They have their own jury members and all who check the website for development, how the coding is done, how the designs are done, and the user experience they have put, like, and they judge the this thing, the website. So it's a really good site for you all to go and check it out, and it has some amazingly designed encoding. The level of the designs and the code, the you will see it, like it's just amazing. Like you can actually know, like like what you can do as a designer, like what are the things possible. You can see it through, like people have done it, and you can get some good ideas out of it. So check it out, awards. Then there is something called site inspiration, which gives you, like it's like a database of all the good sites. Their screenshots are mentioned on the site. uh, a designer should always have Dribble account. Remember that a Dribble is a place where you can see, like where you can create your own portfolio. If you don't have a website, no worries. Just create an account on Dribbble, put your designs over there, and you can connect with other designers from all over the world. You can take feedback from other designers who are very well experienced, and just don't be shy, guys. Okay, so it's my personal experience that whenever I have reached out to any experienced designer or a coder, they, I'm not talking about Goans or like Indians or like from your locality. I'm talking about from anywhere around the world. Even if you reach out to someone, they will reply to you. Remember that it's the people who work in this community. They are very nice, and they reach out to you. If you have any issues, you can even reach out to me. I can tell you, or you can reach out to somebody else, a very highly experienced designer, and they will reply to you. Okay, so this is a interface of Dribbble, and as you can see, I'm sure you'll be amazed to see all these designs. You can get a lot of inspiration from this for your upcoming designs, and you can do something amazing out of this. Okay, remember that. So Dribbble is kind of like a portfolio for yourself. You can go and create an account, and then you can start posting your designs over there. You can see like what other designers are doing. You can like their design, and it's like a Facebook for designers. Just think it like that. Okay, go back to the slide, Akash. So let's talk
Okay,
about
we
some
have.
more. We have Behance. Yeah, Behance is
Should I open it?
owned by Adobe right now, and it's actually a very big platform, bigger than Dribble. Dribble is like you're putting a small things, but Behance is something where you put up an entire project. And you have done like 20 pages, a big website. You have done big branding projects. You can put it up over here. You can find all sort of designs over. You can find photography. You can find 3D designing. You can find iconography. You can find even good branding examples. Now, whatever you see right now, this is a very good branding example. See how the logo has been designed. These are the different variations of the logos. See the designer has done some reliability testing. This is the brand. See the iCard's been designed. So just bookmark these sites, Behance, Awards, and Dribble. They are going to help you out a lot in your upcoming days as a designer. If you want to pursue this, uh, you know, uh, go to the next slide, maybe. Yeah. So these are some of the inspirational websites we have for you. I think we have not linked it, but we'll go ahead and we'll link it for you guys, so y'all can just, bookmark it later on. Yeah. Go to the next slide, Akash. Okay, these are some references. I'm, I don't know like how many people will like to read books, but these are some books which will help you like in your core design, which will help you to create a good foundation for you. So we have listed some good books over here: Principle of Design, Universal Principles of Design, Typography. I'm sure you all know what is typography. Typography is designing with fonts, and as I said, bold, italic, where to use bold and all, how to use it, how to sync it. It is all about that. Grid system is all about layouts, centered layout, wide layout, different types of columns. It's all about that. Okay. We have some free resources also for you. My personal favorite, Philip Van Dusen. He's a very good YouTuber. I like to watch his videos because its videos are very small, like 10 minutes, 5 minutes and all, and they are very informative. Photoshop training channel is my go-to channel for any Photoshop related help. If I need for any tool, I just go over there, and
YouTube channel.
very well explained. These two are YouTube channels. You can bookmark it. Photoshop training channel is very useful. You will get to learn Photoshop tools. A lot of things are there. It's a very it has like a lot of videos in this guy is very good at Photoshop. This person, Steve Roddick, is a designer, and I like his style, the way he designs. Especially he designs like logos and shapes and characters. You can go check it out. He's so when I was talking about a designer, a particular designer, Akash, me, or somebody else having a style, this is what I'm talking about. Akash, can you open that link? Stephen Roddick.
Yeah.
So just go down like, yeah. see the style of his logos, and now just check out his logo, his personal logo. Just scroll on top his DP pic.
Yeah.
Just check it out. So now, right, you got what I was saying, right? The style. You know, he has his own style. See the characters, the shapes, and his brand logo. It is similar because that's his specialty. You know, you can go back to this slide. So you guys can check it out. There are a lot of other designers. Cubic is a studio. It's a very well-known website. It's a studio, as in like there are a lot of. It's a team of people who work. It's like a small company, and they have done some really good designs. I'm a big follower of them. I follow them on Dribble. I like their stuff, what they put. So you know, you can check it out, their website. You can, they have some case studies and all on design, so you can read them if you all want. Okay, and there are some free resources for you all. Unsplash, Pixels, Pixabay, all these three sites are for your
Images.
photography. Yeah, images. Royalty free, they call it. So they are absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine if you use them, but you need to just check the you know, just check the read more or info on those websites before using the photographs. Just another tip, if you don't Google for photographs and use them on your website, because that is like a copyright issue. So don't do that. Try to find websites which are giving you free photographs, which are, and where they have mentioned that it is okay to use this photograph or edit this photograph. So as a designer, don't copy, don't take anybody's stuff, because you might run into trouble. Okay, nowadays there are a lot of issues. It doesn't happen over here in India, and also doesn't make a big difference, but still try to avoid that. Okay, and if you, even if you are using something, try to contact that person, contact that designer, tell them that we are going to use your this thing, you know, for, you are not using it for your commercial purpose or something, you are not getting paid out of it, so you're maybe education purpose you're using. So try to give the credit to the sites which you are using. Okay, Flat Icon is a website where you will find a lot of free resources for icons. So if you need any icon and all, you can go on that site. Icon Finder is one of them. Okay, but my personal favorite is Flat Icon. Premium images and icons. This is Shutterstock and iStock. These are paid websites. If you need something very high quality, then this is where the you should go. Like, go check it out. They are paid. They are paid. You have to subscribe. You have to pay, buy the images, and then you can use them in your website. Okay. So
Yeah, even you get a copyright, like if you purchase that image, only you can use that, like with
yeah.
the, yeah.
So
And
it's a good thing. Like, you can use it for your big clients. You know, we usually do it. See, as a designer, don't restrict yourself. You can use this paid images also to give that feel and to connect the product, to make the product look good, to make the website look good. But you
yeah,
have to
and
tell the
unique.
client to buy. End of the day, you have to tell the client to buy the image. The client should be in a position to buy that image. Remember that. Okay. So next, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we are done. Let's hear from you guys if you have any questions for us. I hope everybody is there, and I hope this session was informative. Hello. Yeah, Sanjit, over to
Yes,
you.
yes, yes, yes. Okay, guys, if you have any doubts or any questions, please feel free to ask. Don't hesitate. Even if it is like the silliest question, you can ask.
No, no problem, guys. Just
Yes.
ask, like, because don't worry about silly being a silly question, or am I asking the right question?
Yeah, I
Question is a
think
question.
Ruchi is raising her hand. Please, Ruchi, go forward.
Ha, yes. Am I audible?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. Sir, I'm Ruchi Katkar from Goa College of Engineering. And being a fresher, I have questions like,
Yeah, yeah.
being as a fresher, what are the basic technologies that we should know? What are the scope as a fresher for
Uh,
designing?
for designing
Basic,
your,
yeah, basic technologies at least that we should know to get into this field.
okay, so
Because, yeah,
yeah, got a question. Yeah, see, we, whatever we taught you just now is all basics, like, you know, but
okay.
what you should know is one tool out of the many tools.
Yes,
You said you're from Goa, right? So
yes,
uh, in most of the Goans, we or Goan companies or Indian companies use Photoshop. So I believe that Photoshop should be the tool which you should know. And if you continue to join our webinars, the second webinar what we are going to have is about user interface and user experience, where you are going to learn a lot about that. And the third webinar is we are going to show you live designing in Photoshop, which might help you in this case to learn Photoshop from us. So we are going to show you how to design a website. So if you are asking me like what basic things you need as a fresher,
Yes.
you should know one tool. You should know at least to do design one landing page. Creativity, you can't learn from it. You have to develop the skills. Creativity
Yes.
is something like having a good thinking out of box, like how you are going to do this login page design, how you are going, what you're going to. So for that, like you need to what I would suggest, if you want to be a good designer, just just see good inspirational websites every day. Like spend 5-10 minutes, or like follow on, if you are there on Instagram, just follow some good designers on Instagram who post some good designs. It helps you to build the muscle memory in you, and which will help you when you are doing the design. But as a fresher, you should know the tool. If you know
Yes.
the tool, creativity is a different topic. Creativity will automatically come. So and just get started, like don't just watch. Sit, install Photoshop, and just practice. Just try to design a logo, try to design a website, no matter if it, even if it is wrong, unless and until you sit in the like it happens to us even for experienced designers. When we get a project, we sit with it like for 10-15 minutes. We just think like how we are doing, how we are supposed to do what. We
Okay.
see a lot of stuff, but in the end nothing comes up. It's like last moment study you are doing for an exam. Last day preparation, right? Last night you will study, and then you'll sit for the exam. It's like that. So you sit in the canvas, you sit with Photoshop, go open the canvas, start designing whatever it is. Let it be, even if it is wrong, it's fine, but keep designing. Learn the tool. As a fresher, you should be at least one or two tools you should know, like a little bit of Illustrator, I would say, and Photoshop, more of Photoshop, which will help you to design as a fresher, I feel like you should know this,
Okay, sir.
especially in designing. Okay, this is only for designing.
So, but in web designing, if I develop a design for uploading it in my resume, where can I upload my designs? Can I use the same inspirational
Yes, you can
websites?
use Behance. You can see Behance is similar to Dribble. Behance lets you you know explore the design world, or give you the exposure with the other designers. Let me show you my profile, which I have not up, which is not up to date, but still it
Yeah.
can serve you as an inspirational purpose. Let me try to. Can you give me?
Behance, right? I'm on the Behance only, right, Ravi?
Yeah, let me share. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Sir.
Yeah. So this is my account. See this. This is my account. Even Akash has one. Pritesh Pasekar, web designing. See. Okay, you
Ah,
can put.
okay. That's
So a fun fact. There are a lot of Goan designers on this website. So if you see, like, this is my very first. It's even you'll see how I've progressed. These are some of the logos. So if you click on it, like you can make a portfolio out of it. You can give this link to a recruiter. These are the logos which I have done in my designing. uh, so this is, and you get excited when you see like people liking your stuff and all. When people, you can also create some free stuff, which you can put for other designers to download it. Like, see this icon for iOS, I just put it for fun stuff, like, and this was just a fun thing, like, and I got 49 likes, 1.4K views. Like, just like,
yeah.
imagine, I'm not consistent with this, but you can be very consistent with this, and you can get a good this thing result from this inspirational website. They are not just inspirational, but you can put a portfolio over there. On Behance, you can create an account, you can put your designs over there, and that link you can give it to your recruiter, which will help you to get a job.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, and the visual effects that are said, the visual effects for
Yeah.
spacing, suppose, so
Yeah.
are they something like some standard? Is it standardized, or as and when the technologies upgrade, we have to keep a track of those technologies and upgrade our websites? Like you said, in SJ Innovation, earlier websites had a different layouts, but now the layouts have changed.
Yeah.
So
It's actually, yeah, I got a question. Yeah. So see, it's actually the trend.
okay, the
It's
trend.
actually fashion. Like I'm sure like you will pick nice clothes like you know
Yeah.
by watching whatever the current fashion is, right? So
Yes.
similar to that in web industry also is similar. You have to be little connected with the other designers and see what are the other designers trying to do, how their designs are getting evolved, what are they doing, that's how. And you should read some articles, you should follow some designers. That's how like we came to know like, okay, now the trend is shifting from centered layout to wide layout. So just to tell you all, like we have also designed another Generation website which is been developed right now. At this moment, people are working on that side, and we have already delivered that design. So hell of a design, like there are like around 20 pages freshly designed. Even if you see the current design and the design which will make it live in the future, like in upcoming months, it is like there is zameen asman ka farak hai, I can say that. So it is that trend, so follow the trend. It is like you are following the latest fashion. It is same thing in web design also. You follow the trend, you find what is there trending and try to design something related to that. It doesn't have anything to do with the technology or this thing. It is just the creativity. One of the designer might come up with some something really nice, and they're like all the designers follow the same pattern, so it becomes a trend. Okay, something like that.
Okay, yeah, that were my questions. So thank you
Yeah,
so much.
welcome. Nice questions. Thanks. Anybody else? Any suggestions on good designers on Instagram? Yes, we have some
Uh,
suggestions.
Pritesh, wait, I think Varad Prabhugaonkar has a question. Varad
Okay.
Prabhugaonkar, yeah.
Yeah, hi sir. Hi sir. I'm Varap Prabhugankar from Chogule, Parvatibai Chogule College. I'm
Yeah.
a second year
Thank you.
student.
Hi.
I just wanted to know that now it's a pandemic and everyone is at home and everyone is from the coding, they are coding, someone is coding and like that. So just the online internship or any provisions are made in SJ Innovation, anything like that?
Okay. As of now, we don't have anything, but a good thought. I'll put it forward with my managers, and we'll see what can be done about it. So maybe we can work about it, and we'll keep you posted about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thanks.
Yeah.
A good thought.
Pritesh, we
Yeah.
have more questions. Samina, are you there? Sarmin. Hello, Sarmin. Okay, okay, fine. Abdullah had
Yeah, I
raised,
see his question. Like,
yeah.
as an UI UX designer, should I know the basics HTML? Okay, so I knew like somebody will ask this question. See, guys, when you when we say like a web designer, there are it depends on company to company. Some companies they look for less in design and more in coding, and some companies look for less in coding and more into design. So it depends company to company. Now, if you ask me a question whether a designer should learn coding, it's a very debatable topic, and it's up to person. Like if you ask me whether I know coding, yes, I know coding because from design I shifted into coding and I liked coding, so I went into depth like of HTML, CSS, CSS3, HTML5. I went into WordPress, Drupal. I did a lot of coding, like skinning of the websites and all. But if you ask Akash, he never did it. He's core. He's from his core. He's a designer, and he's been chasing his designing. He's from his basic designing, from graphic designing. He has come to a level where he did UI designing, and from that he is progressing now to UX designer as a UX designer. So he is thinking from user perspective and all. So if you ask me, like general knowledge you should have about what is HTML, how it works, and CSS. You should have some little bit of knowledge. But if you ask me bootstrap and all, it depends. If you like coding, I'm sure like you should go ahead and do a career in coding with a little bit knowledge of design. But if you want to stick to designing, then you don't have to learn and implement Bootstrap and all. But yes, you have to, like, be in touch with the technology. Like, you should know like how Bootstrap works. If you are asking Bootstrap as a designer, we should know that there is something called Bootstrap Grid. That it's like a guideline which helps designers to design a design of a web page, which can be easily implemented using Bootstrap, because you are following the guidelines the way the developers will be coding it. So to not to confuse you, Bootstrap uses a grid, which is a 12 column grid, and the same grid is available in Photoshop. So we make a grid in Photoshop, and those 12 columns we then try to design. Okay, so that when you do that, it reduces the development time for the developers, and it helps the developers to do a very speedy development work. So if you see, like, it's actually a debatable topic, but it's up to you. If you like coding, you go into coding and make a good career in front-end development. If you like design and if you like coding, it's a front-end designing is the path for you. If you don't like designing at all, you go into back-end coding, where everything is coding. Everything is coding, nothing design related. In front end, you will get to learn HTML, CSS, then you will get to learn JavaScript. You will get to implement the design which a designer does, which is given to you. You will implement that particular design on the using the coding. You will implement it on this thing. So whatever you see right now on your browser, that is done by a front end developer, and that design is done by a designer. So there is a difference. Okay, I'm sure, like, I have answered you. I've given you some proper explanation, and you understand it, Abdullah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sarmin, you can ask your question.
Can you unmute? Can you please unmute?
Yeah, I did.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, sir, I'm Sharmin Nabila. Because of my online classes, I had to connect to you lately, unfortunately. So I missed out the previous slides. So what do I do now?
No problem. I think this is
Yeah.
recorded and it's going to go on YouTube. So
Yes.
you guys can be in touch with maybe our Twitter account or Facebook, and you'll get a link over there shortly. Once the marketing team updates it on YouTube. Okay, you'll get a link. Just be in touch with our social media accounts. Even you can follow me and Akash. We'll tweet about it. We are there on Twitter. We are there on LinkedIn. You guys can follow us over there. We always tweet about some good stuff about designing and all the stuff going on in the market. And so you'll get a link over there. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, Mohammed Hassan, you can ask your question.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I am Hassan Ahmed I'm from Bangladesh, from Sylhet. And here's my question. Yeah, I do not work with UI and UX design, but I mostly design some PHP to HTML designs as like that WordPress customization. So I have some I want some tips. So what should I learn from next generation, or that will be affected, or that will be effective for my work?
So are you like a designer, a web designer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, when you said you don't know UI UX, but you are already practicing UI and UX in your designs. You said you designed PhDs, right?
HTML, PhD HTML. Sir. I design it with web design site like that.
Okay. You are a coder. You convert
Yes, sir.
PhD to HTML. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what do you want to know, like?
So what should I learn from as a web designer?
Okay, so for you, see, the next path for you is, if you are if you are very good at PhD to HTML, your next step is to learn more about CSS3, creating layouts, good layouts, learn frameworks. Like, the major framework right now used everywhere is Bootstrap, and you can learn about Bootstrap. There is Bootstrap 3, there is Bootstrap 4. Learn to code using Bootstrap. Then you can go shift yourself little bit into more deeper coding, that is JavaScript. Learn JavaScript basics. and then you can from JavaScript you can shift yourself to jQuery. So this would be your like core lineup as a from a shifting from a web designer to a front end developer. Then you can target front end development with this particular sort of skill. Then there is like Angular, React. Then there are a lot of opportunities for you. There is a lot of things you can learn then, and you can try out then everything. So right now it's good. It's really nice that you are doing PhD to HTML. Learn more CSS tricks. I'm sure you can follow Chris Coyer. You can note it down, Chris Coyer, or his
Yes,
website,
sir.
csstricks.com.
Yes, sir.
Be in touch with it. Like there are a lot of stuff, and there are so the more you do PhD to HTML conversion, different layouts, your expertise will improve. You will be a more you'll get more experience with that. You'll be better at conversions, and then automatically shift to Bootstrap. Learn Bootstrap. The same layout what you did with Pure CSS. Try to do it with using Bootstrap. Learn Bootstrap. Watch some videos, and then you can learn little bit of JavaScript, adding triggers like on-click, pop-up, validations, some sort of like sliders, carousels, and all, and that will help you later on to get to your other goal, that is becoming a front-end developer from a web
Yes,
designer.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I have another question, sir. Yeah, if I, as a web designer, I'm doing some stuff like the web design. So if I want to learn about about Photoshop, like that UI UX design, so it will be good decision if I do that.
Yes, it's up to you. You find out your strength and weaknesses. If you feel that you are a creative type of person, and your creativity, you have to choose now. You are a fresher. You have to choose now whether you like coding, then you stick to coding and you
Okay.
take that path. But if you don't like coding, and if you want to become a designer, you have those creative thoughts coming in your mind, you can solve problems, you can then you should turn yourself to designing and pick a path in UI design and UX design, and you can be a
Yes,
good
sir.
designer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
So can I say something?
Yes, sure.
Sir, is it important to know the coding language if we want to become a designer, web designer?
As I said, there are some few things which you should know, that is HTML and CSS. Like that is because you need to know the limitations.
Sure.
So it helps you to like just imagine like you are doing a website, and you don't know like whether like it is going to be is it possible even for a developer to do to do that design, right? And that will waste. See, just imagine like you're working for a company, you did a design and the client is waiting over there. You did a design and the developer is saying that, oh my god, this design is not possible to do, like there are a lot of issues with this design, right? So then what happens? You are losing that time. The client is waiting over there. Client has a deadline, and you are not meeting that deadline. So you have to like know some basic stuff which helps you to know to create a good design. Like for example, what happens if you don't know Bootstrap grid? What does a grid mean? What does it mean and how does it work? So you cannot implement that in your design, and finally the design developer says that oh my god, this design won't work with Bootstrap, we need a major revamp of this design, right? It's a waste of time. So there are some things you don't need to actually code with Bootstrap, but you need to know how the grid works, what are the 12 columns, how the 12 columns can be split into two column, single column layout, two column layout, what can be done, that sort of stuff. So little bit of HTML, CSS, talking to some developers and getting a review of your designs with some good developers will also help you to get a understanding how the coding part works. That can also help you out. So if you are suppose like if you have designed a good website, get it reviewed with a developer who is very good at developing. Show him like, okay, I have designed this website, so what do you think about it? Like, is it possible? If he says like no, like okay, then what are the things, like why it is not possible? You'd be curious, like ask questions to them, get feedback and improve your design. So final takeaway for you, a little bit of understanding is required. You don't have to remember the code because you're not never going to use the code, but you need to understand how the coding works and how the coding is done on the of web pages. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. Any more questions?
I think there are some in the chat.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah, Ayush Anand was, yeah.
Yeah, any suggestions on
Suggestions.
good designers on Instagram? Yes, we have some good designers, and we will add them on the slides for you guys, so y'all can just follow them, and it will help you out. Okay. There is one more. I have to do proper course. What is it about?
I didn't get
The
that.
Weinman career.
Kastub.
Weinman career.
Kastub, can you ask your question? Kastub? Hello, Kastub.
I think he wants to know whether he can do a course. Yes, there are some courses available. Uh, 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 so you need to pick a web designing course, which will teach you to, just make sure you are taking the course which has these tools which we have mentioned in the slide. That is Photoshop, and as one of the girl who asked, Ruchi, I guess, right? She also wanted to know what are the basic stuff as a web designer you should know. Like, so you should know some tools at least to get started, because it is not just like you're watching and reading stuff. You need to actually start implementing, start making small designs, maybe small logos, maybe do a logo for yourself, maybe do a website for yourself or your business if you are having a small business. So that way it will help you out a lot. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any more questions? I think so. There are no questions. Okay, Pritesh. So I think we should conclude with this.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Pritesh and Akash, for
Yeah.
such a wonderful presentation. I'm very sure our participants must have got a head start, and by now they are they are in a position to understand what web designing is
Yeah,
all
Sanjit,
about.
there is one
Yeah,
more question popped
yeah.
up, which is the best and simpler tool to start web designing
Okay.
as a beginner? I would say Photoshop, because it has been around, it's been a big, it has been a lot of years. Like Photoshop is there in the market, and I think from even I did some sites in Photoshop version 6 CS or something long back. So Photoshop, why I'm saying, because Photoshop is being in the market, and you will get a lot of resources of learning how to design a web page using Photoshop. And because of that, I want to go say that Photoshop is the best tool, because the number of resources, the YouTube videos available in the market will help you to gain all that knowledge, and will help you to even practice more. Okay. Yeah, so just before we leave, we would like to tell you that the next webinar, just be updated about it with Sanjit or our social media accounts. And the next topic is really interesting, because we are going to talk about what is user interface and what is user experience, and how it plays a very important role in design. And we are going to show you how to design or how to create a wireframe live with some tool, and we'll give you some more knowledge in that session. So do join next session. It will be really interesting, because if you know getting started, it is not enough. You should know what is UI and what is UX design, which will take you and which will give you some more knowledge, and which will take you to the next level.
Yes, yes. Okay, Pritesh.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Sanjay.
Pritesh. So the questions from the participants shows the impact of the webinar, and thank you so much for the webinar. And I would like to give one suggestion to all the participants. Please make sure that, as I had mentioned in the start also, like this is not the end point, but this is just the starting. You have to like explore more and more, keep on practicing different type of web design things, aspects, all those things. And anytime if you like feel that you are stuck or you are not able to get through it, please feel free to ask anyone from SJ Innovation. We are always there to help you. You can always, like how Pritesh said, if you are stuck with any design, you can always feel free to ask Pritesh or Akash or anyone. Okay, so that is one thing. And please follow us at Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and stay tuned for more updates, because we will be posting about our future webinars on these social media platforms. And after this session, I'll be sending you people a feedback form. Also there will be the slides given and the video also. So please fill the feedback form. We will expect a genuine feedback, because it will really help our team to improve their self. Also we have lot of career opportunities. So if so basically this is for freshers. If someone is trying for any opportunities in designing or development, please just visit our SJ Innovation site and check out the career section. Yeah, so that's all. Thank you for joining, guys. It was a great, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Bye.